Hello, I'm Dr. Trevor Miner. I'm a physical therapist, and I've been doing home health for years. One of the things I always get questions about is how can I optimize my driving route? Well, don't worry, I have just the thing. Sit tight, and I'm going to show you how to crush your home health route. Now, let me tell you just a little bit about myself. When I graduated, I went directly into home health. I've been doing home health now for over 4 years, and I really have a passion for working with older adults. This isn't just some side job for me. This is truly my passion. Now, let me tell you, on my very first day working in home health, I went out with a great PT. He showed me the ropes. He was there. He was available to shoot ideas off of. But I remember on that very first day, as we were driving all over, kind of in the outskirts of the Phoenix, Arizona area, I felt like we were spending a little bit too much time just driving around. And I thought there has to be a better way. I looked into it, and guess what? There are better ways to do it. And I'm going to tell you all about that. Now, a lot of people talk about a variety of different apps available for planning your routes. The truth is, as home health workers, we have some very specific needs if we're going to get the best use out of these apps. For example, we need to be able to set parameters for patient availability, also length of visits. Most applications don't actually have those features, but there is one that does. I've been using this application for over 4 years as a paid subscriber, and let me tell you, it has saved me so much time. Okay, it's called Road Warrior, and I'm going to show you today how to use Road Warrior to set up your route so that you can spend the least time driving possible. Go ahead and log in, create an account, and once you do, you'll see this main screen here. Right now, it looks pretty bare. If you use this over some time, it's going to look something like this. Now, you'll see at the top that we're on the map view. There's also a list view. That's where you'll find your route for the day. Now, before we get going on other things, let's hop into the settings. So go ahead and pull up your settings. So once you're in settings, there's just a few things that we want to make sure are selected initially. So you want navigate settings selected, and you want to adjust your visit time. So go down there to the visit time. In visit time, you want to just choose a time that's probably your average visit length. So for me, that's usually about 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 45 minutes. Okay, now that you can adjust the visit length individually for each person on a given route, but that will just be the default. All right, let's head out. From here, what you want to do on a typical day is you want to create a route. So we'll hit new route at the bottom, and usually I do create blank route. Okay, this is going to pop up with some default options here. If you press down, it's going to decide how you want your start time. Now, I usually put that time in manually, and I do that based on when I plan to leave the following day, because I'm usually scheduling the day before. So what I'll do is I'll put in, say, 9 a.m. That's going to be my departure time. Okay, and then you can go down here and you can name your route whatever you'd like. I usually do the day of the week and the date, just for my own record. Now up at the top where it says one way, you actually want to click on that, put round trip. When it's telling you your mileage and the drive time, that gives you the entire thing. It doesn't cut off the last segment of your route. Now you can choose whether you want it to be set to shortest distance or fastest. I like to leave it at fastest. It makes the most sense for me. So let's hit save. Okay, so now we have this route created. Okay, the next step here is we want to put in the addresses of the people we're going to see. Now, the beauty of this is you only have to put the address in one time, and then going forward, you can just put in the name of the patient or some other identifier if you don't want to use the patient name. Okay, so all you do is hit the plus button down here at the bottom, and you're just going to put in the address for your first patient. Now, I have some addresses that are real addresses, but not for any people I know. These are randomly generated addresses and also fake names. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my first address. okay? And you'll see it does have an autofill option. So we'll go ahead and click that to add. Now, there are some things that are a little bit annoying because this isn't really, we're not the primary intended audience for this application. So what I like to do is, if this is the first time I'm seeing this patient and I plan to see them some more, I'm not just covering a single visit or something, after I add them right here, I'm going to press the back arrow to go out of this search function. And then I'm actually going to come in here and click edit, okay? So in this screen here, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the rest of the information for my patient. Okay, now one thing that's nice is in addition to the phone, you can also put in some notes. So I use this area down here at the bottom to put in things like gate codes, apartment numbers, or maybe other information that's helpful to have, such as contact numbers for caregivers or some other tidbits, maybe their dialysis days. Once you update that information, what you're going to want to do, since you plan to see this person again, you're actually going to click on the marker again and go ahead and click Save Favorite, okay? So now that information has been stored with that marker, okay? Now, I have a bunch of other fake addresses and names here. I'm going to go ahead and put those in, and then we'll keep going. Now, as you can see here, I put in 5 different addresses for this route tomorrow. The next step is going to be checking to see that the visit length is appropriate for the patient. So like I said, they all default to 45 minutes. Now, we're going to say that Mr. Parker Plummer is a start of care. So with a start of care, I typically take about 65 minutes. It's pretty accurate for me. For you, that's going to vary, maybe a little more, a little less. But I'm going to go ahead and click on his marker, go into Edit, and then go down to Visit Time, and I can change the visit time. So one little tip. Once a marker, once someone's been added onto your route, any changes that you make, like when you click edit, those changes will only be effective for that one route. Okay, so the next time you go to add that person to your route, you no longer will have whatever changes you made. So that can be a good thing. In this case, where I'm just changing the time, and next time I'll want it to be 45 minutes. Or if you added some information that was important, then you may lose that information unless you go back and look at your history and go to that specific route and then pull up that visit again. Okay, so just a little something to remember there. So once you've changed it, go ahead and hit save. We'll say this wants me to optimize. It really wants me to optimize. We're not quite there yet. Let's go down here and we'll change another one. We'll just say that this one's going to be 45, or let's say it's going to be 50 minutes. Maybe I just know it takes a little bit longer for that particular person. So the next thing you can do is set up some availability for people. So if you happen to know that Mr. Plummer here is only available in the afternoon between 1 and 5, go ahead and hit Add Schedule, and go ahead and put in 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, and hit save. So now Road Warrior knows that's when they're available. Now, most of the time, it's going to respect that time frame, but it won't always. There are some little quirks. So sometimes you have to fiddle with it a little bit, but most of the time it will respect that. Okay, let's go ahead and order our stops or optimize. Okay, so one thing I like to do, just as a sanity check to make sure that it is giving me a good route, is when I optimize, I like to have the map view out so I can see the actual route that it's planning. Okay, now Parker Plummer here is actually very close to me, but since I put that as availabilities in the afternoon, it should put that at the end of my route. Let's see what happens. So go ahead and hit order stops and then hit optimize. Okay, there you go. So you can see this is the route that it chose for me. And actually, this doesn't look like the best route. Of course it doesn't. So let's go ahead and add one other availability window for somebody. Let's say Miss Kaiser here is available, let's say about 11 to 11:30. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit optimize. And you'll see that this is the route that it came up with. Now, this route looks good. It looks like an acceptable route. You'll notice that Parker Plummer was put last because his availability wasn't until the afternoon. And then the other ones were put in an order that would allow me to get there in appropriate time. So what I like to do is go ahead and optimize the route like this, and then just start at the top. I'm going to call Judah Kaiser first and schedule that visit. Okay, and you'll see that if you leave your house at 9 o'clock, in this case, if you leave your house at 9 p.m., I meant to put a.m. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. That's not when we're going to start. We're not going to start at 9 p.m. Okay, so we're going to start at 9 a.m. That would be great, right? Hit order stops. This actually makes a bit more sense. Okay, so now that we've done it correctly, you can see that I should be able to get over there to see Judah Kaiser just after the available window that I set, which was between 11 and 11:30. So like I said, it doesn't always follow it exactly, but it gets pretty close most of the time. So you can see that if I'm going to call and set up my visits for today, what I would do is I would just optimize just like this. Then I would give Paulina Sanford a call. And I would say, hey, I anticipate being there around 9:30. And, if you leave your home at 9, if I were to leave at 9, I should get there about 9:30. I tend to actually give a half-hour window most of the time. So I'd probably say, I'll be there about 9:30 to 10, just to give myself a little leeway. If that works, if they accept that schedule, then I'll go ahead and call the next one, 10:30 to 11. Okay, and I'll proceed down in that manner. Now, if you get to a spot where somebody says, oh, well, I have this going on, okay? So say we get down here to Judah, and instead of this 11:30 range, they say, oh, actually, I'm only available, let's see, between, say, noon and 2. So you can just go in and say, okay, just a minute, let me check and see what I can do for you. Then you're just going to go in here. You have to set the later number first. So you say 2 p.m. and noon. Okay. And then you're going to want to optimize again. So you'll hit order stops, optimize. And of course, because 11:40 is only 20 minutes before, it still thinks that that's a good way to go, to just get there 20 minutes early. I'm going to adjust that really quickly here. Let's change that so that it actually gives us something useful to go off of. So I'm going to say 12:45. Okay. There you go. So you can see now that it's bumped Pascal up on the list and drop Judah down. So then you can say, oh, well, how about instead of, 11:40, how about, between 12:30 and 1, okay? And then you can go back and call Pascal, and hopefully they're available between 11:30 and 12. And you'll find out in home health, sometimes it can be difficult to get patients to meet when you want, but hopefully it works. Most of the time, when you've got tools like this available, you're able to figure out something that works, okay? So then you go through, plan out your day, and you're ready to go, Okay, so you can see at the top here, my total distance is going to be 77 miles for the day, and my travel time is going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes. So this is great. It also provides some information for your mileage. So if you're tracking your mileage, you can also use this mileage. And what's great is that it's tracking where you're going. So in the event of, say, an audit, you can actually go back and say, oh, well, this is where I was going. Like, this is the work that I was doing. That's an important part of having mileage data available. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to pretend like we're going to go see Pauline now. Or Paulina, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and click Navigate. And we have that option set to show us options. So that's because we want to change a couple things here on our first time. Okay, so this Navigate settings, you can have it show all the time. I just change the settings to how I want them. And then I put the little option here at the bottom that says, do not display this again. Okay, you can always re-enable it, of course. But what I like to do is you can set your navigation app. I love Google Maps. It's always been really reliable for me. It integrates a lot of the data from Waze. I know a lot of people like Waze. Waze ends up being too slow for me. But Google Maps is very reliable. So I choose that. Now, navigation target, set it to address. Don't leave it as coordinates. That's going to mess things up. So go ahead and put address. And then for your Gmaps mode, I put navigate directly. Otherwise, you'll have an extra step in the middle where you have to click navigate. And I just think that's a waste of time. So I do navigate directly. And then once you've done that, just go ahead and hit navigate and you're on your way. All right, now just a couple other quick things I wanted to show you. One thing that's really helpful is actually creating some preset appointment times. So how you do that is when you're in here looking at your patients and you go to add schedule, the option that we used initially was create one-time schedule. But if you click on the other one here, create multi-use schedule, then you can actually name it something. And I don't know, let's call it first appointment, okay? And let's say that it is 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., okay? And then hit save, all right? So it saved it for that person, but then it will also actually save it so that when you come back, for example, I'm going to click in here and click add schedule. You'll see that first appointment is available right there. So you can actually build out a list, say 8:30, 8 to 9, however you want to work it. And then they'll all be built in right there so that it saves you time when you're going to add schedules. You can just select from the list of the ones that you've already created there. I also want to show you just how easy it is to add people onto your schedule once you already have them in the database here. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new route, which this is what you do, like I said, for each day. So when I go to sit down, I'm done with my day of work for the day. I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to click new route, name it how I want it. And then as I'm seeing who I have, I can actually just, when I click the add button here, I can just search for the name. So for example, Parker Plumber, and you'll see that it just pops up right at the top. So I can go ahead and just click that, and then I click the little plus thing at the bottom, and now that person's added to that route. And you can go ahead and do that with all the ones that you've had. So you only have to really put in their information one time, and after that it's all stored. It's really fast. It saves so much time. So, you know, this is the best way that I've found to do this so that you're driving the least, you're spending the most time with your patients and at home, okay? We don't need to waste time driving, sitting in traffic unnecessarily. So if you found this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I hope to bring you a lot more valuable content. And go ahead, comment below if you have questions or anything. I'll read your comments, I'll reply. Thank you again, and until next time, have a good one.